Princess of Wales. Diana enjoys the spotlight. As a child, her ambition was to become a dancer. As good fortune would have it, she became a princess instead. Like all royals, the Princess of Wales decides to dress according. The formula has become simpler and more played down, but above all, she wants to be seen for what she does rather than for what she wears. Diana's day wear amounts to an interpretation of an executive woman's wardrobe standing out in a crowd. Even on family occasions, she's rarely caught off guard. Dressing has never been a special aim of British royalty, yet Diana begins from a position of enjoying clothes. Despite accusations of being a clothes horse, Diana knows looking good is an important part of the show. The principles that govern her dressing at home, abroad, and in the public eye of the royal family. The British upper class dress smartly, above all, to be polite and conventional. One sign of her remarkable strength of character is the way she faces up to media attention. She's always fair game to photographers the world over, on and off duty. What's more, being Diana, she's decided it was a game she would win. At the beginning of her marriage, she deliberately upped in the language of clothes. Demanding foreign tours mean 3 or 4 changes a day, causing accusations of extravagance and an obsession with her image. When favorite outfits are worn on several occasions, newspapers interpret this as evidence of thrift in the time of recession. Yet she's managed to lighten the routine of being photographed on parade, a routine which started at the age of 19 with rumors. Caught by TV cameras leaving by the back door of the kindergarten where she worked as a nursery school teacher, who could have speculated that within months women around
really she dressed in a very English county stroke Chelsea way, which was absolutely perfect for the fiancé of the Prince of Wales. There wasn't any question about it, that everybody in England totally understood the signal she gave out in the way that she was dressed as a 19-year-old. And I think for its purpose, it served her very, very well to look very conservative and very sort of English. And
bride-to-be wore a modest off-the-peg blue suit by Kajana, purchased from Harrods. During her engagement, Diana's exposure to the press was intense. As a public figure in embryo, she began to learn lessons the hard way, particularly when she tried a plunging necklace. Months later on the steps of St. Paul's Cathedral, millions watched as the young bride unraveled her wedding dress designed by David and Elizabeth Emmanuel, made of ivory-coloured. Diana had to start virtually from scratch. In the absence of any formal royal training, how does a young princess?
Yes, we're talking about 1980, 1981 now, aren't we? She was very, that sort of set that she moved. We hadn't hit the suits yet because the rest of the very high fashion world was in amongst the Japanese at this point. We were all wearing black with sort of, things, holes pulled out of it and so forth. It was totally unsuitable for the Princess of Wales. And so she absolutely, she doesn't, she's just so confident that it doesn't make any difference. So the difference is extraordinary from that, sort of chin down was clothed, and now it's sort of wonderfully and sort of she just feels comfortable in anything she wears.
She had William with her, and of course he was only, 6 months old at that stage, and always travelling, and they kept the baby back at a ranch in central Australia, and they kept commuting backwards. And since then they've never ever had a long tour like it, because you could tell after about a week she was just totally exhausted. Not only was it, also it's her first trip, it was also new to her and very daunting, but to have 6 weeks of it too, and 6 weeks for us too, trying to keep up with them. But it was exciting because it was all fresh, we didn't really know much about her, and everybody was still sort of getting over the wedding and the excitement of that. And the Australians were really
conventions and restrictions of being a leading member of the world's preeminent royal family and come face to face with her adoring public. Everybody loves to catch a glimpse of a princess dressed in clothes to which they can relate. Soon the girly outfits were to vanish as her wardrobe began to reflect a growing confidence.
And it was about 4 weeks into the tour, and we had lots of sort of girly outfits. On the last time she turned up at the dinner wearing this really, what I would call her first sexy outfit, and it looked very sort of dynasty and glamorous. And it was so different from everything she'd worn on the whole trip. This outfit actually looked, without having a low cut.
Diana fell naturally into the routine of royalty. She developed her own sense of style and fashion. One of the principal beneficiaries of her high-profile public role was the British fashion family firm. Designers like Belleville Soulfield are among her favourites. Is at the helm of British fashion has constantly topped Diana's list. Very soon, her designs were copied in the high street shops as her bows and gathered styles, cultivating a more sophisticated image. She tried out everything she could in order to experience what was around in the British fashion scene. Above all, it was the rags-to-riches London designer Bruce Oldfield who introduced her to the sleek, glamorous film star look, replacing. The princess looks particularly good wearing Catherine Walker's designs. Her fitted suits look perfect on Diana's shapely figure. The rising sun motif on the hat was originally created for an official visit to Japan. The hat, by royal milliner Philip Somerville, tops off the whole ensemble.
The English fashion scene benefited tremendously from having this extraordinary patronage of the world's most photographed woman. I mean, I don't think anybody could quite believe that she was actually there wearing British. And it was never, no public statement was ever made. Nobody, I mean, there's this
matching set of exquisite jet and diamond jewels, a gift from the Sultan of Oman. Final touches were added by the Spencer family tiara and a deep blue velvet evening gown by Victor Edelstein.
Spencer family tiara and the what we call the Queen Mary tiara, which isn't strictly speaking a Queen Mary tiara, but it's one that Queen Mary used to wear. And she wears those two, and then she combines these fabulous jewels, real jewels, with a lot of stuff she buys. You know, Butler and Wilson or Harvey Nichols, wonderful, inexpensive jewellery that looks dazzling on her. And I think that shows the great taste and style she's got, that she can wear something.
In the way English women wear hats to weddings, plonked on the head with a veil pulled over, or the fluff feather. And really, almost immediately, maybe 2 years into being Princess of Wales and having to wear a hat, she suddenly realised she had to wear them the way they should be worn. Because she has great shoulders and terrific posture, she looks marvellous with those, you know, very broad hats. And once you wear those hats, you actually begin to like wearing them. She really does look like, and she wears them with the right outfits, which is terribly important. I mean, she's always the one of the church at Christmas, you know, when they've all gone to the service, and she's immaculate. Everything matches, everything's perfect, and the hats.
Hair is important too. Early on, she experimented sweeping her long hair back off her face before.
You swim in every morning and you come back and get ready to go out. Short hair is quicker to redo. And if she had long hair, it would...
What she wasn't 10 years ago. And you actually can't spend time on your hair if you're a busy mum and you're working and you're out and you're trying to get them from school and they've got to look... it looks wonderful now, and it's... I mean, from a purely functional point of view, it has to be that way. I mean, once you've had short hair that works well, you never grow it again.
Young mother, particularly at school sports day, naturally calls for a suitable kind of casual clothes befitting to a princess.
She looks wonderful in casual clothes. I mean, the picture for me, the best picture is the one of the school.
One wardrobe is the working wardrobe of the more already mentioned, the one that she wears on official engagements. Then there's the kind of, and then there's the, what I think of as sometimes as the Essex girl look that she has, Ken's. She looks very, very ordinary then. You would often...
A little sailor's hat with it, and it looked quite... just has always looked good. It always looks crisp, fresh, never creases. And whatever event she's at, it looks wonderful. And it was a white base with big red, large sort of rising sun circles, exactly as the Japanese flag. And she had a big red hat. And it just was sort of very appropriate for the occasion.
The Japanese returned the compliment by presenting Diana with a kimono, their national dress, even if it was a little bit too long for her. As if in competition with the dazzling images of...
Wears